One of the best parts of my job is getting to sit and discuss research with graduate students. And inevitably in our conversation, there will be a moment where I say, wow, what a great idea. I hadn't thought of that before.
Without them, we would definitely not be delivering the sort of high quality instruction and extensive interaction with undergraduates that we have. They're designing the experiments, they're helping write the grants, they're helping fuel the discovery engine this institution has.
When the undergraduates come to work in the lab, their grades always go up because they have role models in the graduate students. They make it so that the undergraduates realize that it can be cool to be smart and to work hard.
I'm a freshman. I'm from Spokane, Washington. I took English 131 with a graduate TA named Kristen Young. She paid a lot of attention to us. Like, we each had individual attention. She knew our essays that we were writing on, and she would say, oh, remember this idea you had 2 weeks earlier? You know, you can take that and reword it and rework it into your thesis. And it was just really personalized. Like, she knew us, and she knew our writing styles, and she knew like what our essays were about and what we were trying to say.
One of our secret sauces are the quality of students that we can get. A professor is only as good as the kinds of students that they work with.
A few years back, I was being recruited by another major university, and one of the things that I had to ask myself was, how successful would my research program be? They offered me a lot more money than I was able to get if I stayed here. But I looked at the quality of the graduate program that they had at this other university, and what I could tell was that these weren't up to the caliber of the students at the University of Washington. And in the end, I decided to stay here because I thought that the opportunities to get the science done were better at the University of Washington, and no small part of that is the caliber of the graduate student pool.
For me, one of the main impressions I had upon my visit to University of Washington when I was deciding where I was going to start my lab was how dynamic, invested, independent, and just completely passionate the graduate students were. I just knew that that was the kind of atmosphere that I wanted to be in, and it has proven to be true over the years. The really most creative research directions my lab is taking initiated with graduate students.
Without the graduate students, then the faculty wouldn't have the capacity to move forward on interdisciplinary initiatives, which is something that they know is critically important for future funding.
In working with graduate students, not only do you get to see ideas grow and blossom, but you get to see people do the same thing. And so it's different than simply being a researcher working on the science, engineering, or technology.
We would be a much poorer place without them. I really don't think we could get it done. They've got ideas, they've got enthusiasm, they've got the energy and this sort of joie de vivre. And so part of the whole joy of being at a place like the University of Washington is the caliber of students that we're able to work with.
I find that as a faculty, my job is mostly to just get out of the way and let them actually prove that the things that I thought were impossible are completely possible.
If students were unable to be supported through fellowships, they would either have to pay for their expenses themselves, or we'd have to pay for everything out of our research grant budget. Grants are increasingly difficult to get, and if we had to pay for everybody in the absence of fellowships, my lab would probably be 1/3 the size that it is today.
When you have fellowship funding, which we provide all of our students at some point to the best of our ability, it unleashes their ability to be creative outside the scope of milestones that you set up 2 years ago in defining a grant and trying to meet those milestones. And that is, to me, the tremendous value of fellowship funding.
Seattle has enjoyed a great reputation as being a highly educated city, for being a place that has people who value education, who pursue it in their own lives, who see it as a value in the community around them. I hear about business needing folks with advanced degrees all the time. The jobs that are being produced, though, are really dependent upon a talent base. And more that talent base needs to have advanced training.
This is going to be a big year for us. We're poised for a lot of growth, and we like people and employees with advanced degrees because of their ability to both think broadly and outside of the box.
Because Seattle is such an unusual concentration of natural assets and natural diversity, that people who love these kinds of problems stick around. Half of them have gone to school here because they want to live here. And not a few, increasingly, students are saying, I came here because I feel an obligation to protect those assets, and I can understand them better when I live with them every day.
The graduate programs in particular are a huge contributor to a more diversified economy here and a better opportunity for people to ride out ups and downs in the economy, either based on the fact that they already have a grad degree, or they decide during a down economy that it's time to go find a grad degree and make themselves more competitive and more attractive in the marketplace.
The way I think about the graduate students is that they are going to be the leaders of tomorrow.